Healthy friendships are probably one of the most valuable tools for our mental health, yet so many of us have a hard time making friends. In the American Perspectives survey of 2021, 22% of Americans say that it's been at least 5 years since they've made a new friend. And if you think about it, it makes sense because making friends is hard, especially as an adult. In school, we have forced proximity to people, so friendships and relationships are able to evolve organically. We can feel out who we connect with over time and build a friendship without much intentionality before we ever have to take the big step of hanging out as friends outside of school. As an adult, work is sort of our equivalent. Americans are more likely to make friends at work than in any other way. You have the same natural proximity that gives relationships time to develop and takes the pressure off of determining an instant connection. But with the pandemic, more of us than ever are working remotely, which means those natural ebbs in the day when we could grab lunch with a coworker or hang out at the water cooler, they just aren't happening. We log on for a meeting, we log off when we're done. Speaking personally, I just moved to Austin and I only have a few friends here. And that means that I have more space for potential new friendships, more than I've ever had in the past. But it also leaves space to feel lonely. And I've caught myself thinking, like, where do I even start? Because I work from home and my coworkers are also remote. And if I want to pursue a friendship, how do I do that? Here are 10 ways that we can make new friends. Number 1 is to volunteer for a cause that we care about or help other people. It could become a docent, a volunteer at a women's shelter, soup kitchen, or even at your local hospital. People who work side by side on something that they both care about are often more likely to develop one of those organic bonds that really provides a strong foundation for a new friendship. Number 2, we can join a group or a club, like a youth group or a local community-based group, or even the HOA board. Maybe join a hiking club or knitting group, book club, support group. You can go online and search for meetups in your area, because there's something about a shared task or a goal that helps alleviate some of the awkwardness that we can often feel when beginning a new friendship. In essence, we're starting ahead. We already know we have something to talk about, and we are connecting with people who have a shared interest. As more of an introverted person, I know this is asking a lot. Going to meet up with people that you don't know, leaving my comfy couch and our puppy Roxy, it sounds hard. And I'm always going to feel better here on the couch than walking into a book club for the first time. But just trust me when I tell you that we have to keep in mind our end goal. We want new friendships, and they aren't going to just happen to us if we sit at home on the couch watching TV. And also, we have to keep in mind that it takes repeated proximity to build friendships. Of course, we're not going to instantly have a new best friend from one conversation. And if we do, it can sometimes be a sign that something might not be healthy. Think of like love bombing and things like that, or no boundaries, enmeshment, codependency, the list goes on and on. So I would encourage you all to set a goal for how many times you're going to attend a group or club and keep going through with that commitment. Push yourself to give it a chance. I always tell my patients when they're trying something new to at least go 3 times. So just keep that in mind. My next tip is we can take a class. For all of us introverts out there, this might be a better option. We can find a topic or subject that we love and see if there are any upcoming workshops or classes at a local community college that we can sign up for. We'll get to learn about something that we're already interested in. And as we just discussed, making friends in school is something that our brain and body knows how to do from childhood, right? And bonus points if you show up a little early or stay a little later after to chat with someone who sits next to you or sat in front of you or shared a tidbit in class you found interesting. And you can even ask if they want to study together outside of class or grab coffee to discuss it further. It's an easy way or easy option to start building a new adult friendship. Because the truth is, as adults, we do have to be more intentional and proactive with friendships. Our lives are usually busy, and they don't have a lot of space for us to accidentally connect with each other. So even if you're in the right space, like a class, and even if you're feeling like you're enjoying being around someone in class, we might still have to take one more step and pursue that relationship outside of class and make time in our schedule for the growth of that potential relationship. My next tip is to re-engage with old friends that you may have lost touch with. This is a hard one, but it's a great thing to put on our radar. When we feel that lonely feeling coming over us, Get out that old yearbook or scroll through your Facebook page or phone and find a person that you really enjoyed, but maybe just through circumstance you've lost touch with, and reach out. Send that message, send that text, and see what they're up to now. Ask if they just want to do like a Zoom happy hour or catch up on the phone really quickly. We can often feel a little awkward about this, like maybe we're embarrassed that we lost touch in the first place, or perhaps we were never that close to this person. But if it makes us feel awkward, just say what it is to them. Say, I was scrolling through Facebook, I saw your name, and I just wanted to reach out. I'm so sorry we lost touch over the years. I've always enjoyed our friendship, or just want to know what you're up to now. It's okay to just keep it casual. Be honest about, kind of awkward to reach out, but I saw your face and wanted to say hi, see what you're up to. Keeping it casual and light can at least open the door and see if they're interested in reconnecting too. My next tip is to connect with friends of friends. Maybe all of your previously close friends are married and have kids and just don't have time for relationships. Or maybe we're just looking for someone with our lifestyle. It's okay to reach out to friends that you've met through another friend. Like I personally have many friendships like this. Like I've gone to birthday parties for one friend and really connected with someone else because I just had more in common with them. Or we live closer. And not to mention that this doesn't require us to leave our house yet. Right? We can just send a message, text. It's a little easier than having to get up, go to a class or a meetup or something like that. So challenge yourself to go to that Friendsgiving where maybe you only know one or two people, or meet up with your friend who is out with their coworkers that you haven't met yet. And this is a tough part because now we're going to have to hang out with people, get out of our house. I know, and there are going to be people we don't know, but you'll have your one or two friends there to help ease that awkwardness and give you someone to talk to when you first arrive. And I hate to break it to you, but most of the time, making new friends is going to include the process of talking to strangers. How else we're going to meet people, right? Then every friend that you have now was once a stranger, which moves me into my sixth tip. Talk to strangers. I know we were taught from a young age, not do that, right? It's not safe. But you'd be surprised who you can meet by just going out and striking up a conversation with someone in line to get coffee or while sitting at a local bar. Sean and I love doing this, and we have met some really fun and interesting people while doing it. We did it recently when we were in Charleston. We met some other people from Washington State. It's just really cool. So it's also a great mindfulness exercise, just like a 2-for-1, right? Because we get to be where we are, look around our environment, take it all in. So notice who is around you while you're checking out at the grocery store, or offer a smile and a greeting to someone. Pay attention as you're sitting at the tire place waiting to get your tires changed. Is there anyone that you could chat with? What would it look like to be proactive in starting up a conversation that could potentially turn into a friendship? My 7th tip is to make friends online. In this digital age where sometimes people can be angry or upset online, I'm always a little hesitant to first suggest this, but so many of us have really connected with people through social media. Because even though there are dark sides to the internet is also a great place to meet people with shared interests or who are struggling with similar things. And through that, we can make new friends. I see this all the time in our own Kenyan community. People who like my content end up forming connections with one another, and they are kind and they care for each other through really hard times. And the internet provides this sense of security. It can give us space to talk without putting too much pressure on. And I've also noticed that people in our own community have formed those real connections and have met up outside of the internet, getting together. I've seen people at meetups. All have shared photos of you going to new events, or I've seen you at playlists, and that's when you two met up. It's super cool, so give it a chance. My next tip is to try some of those friendship apps. There are so many out there now to help us make new friends. And I know it can feel weird for some of us, but friendships are as important, if not more so sometimes, than finding romantic partners. And we're willing to do the weird work to find those, so why shouldn't we be willing to do it for friends? And there are so many different apps available that we can try. Bumble BFF, Wink, Hey, Vina. Those are all different ones that have worked for people, and many of you have shared with. I even did a brand deal years ago with Bumble BFF, and many of you use that successfully to meet people in your area. So give it a chance. You never know who you'll meet. My next tip is to connect on a neighborhood chatting site. Nothing unites people like a common enemy, and I have found that neighborhood chat groups have some of the funniest enemies. I love reading the message boards to hear about all the neighborhood gossip, about who forgot to mow their lawn or who found a snake in their yard. And often in those apps, I also find people who are like-minded to me, whose comments or posts make me laugh and engage. And I also often learn about events in my neighborhood that are going on. And then I can take that risky step and go. But now at least I have someone to look for, right? The person that I messaged with on the neighborhood chat. So give it a try. It also just keeps you informed about what's happening in your area, so it's like a 2-for-1. My next tip is to pursue the peripheral friend. So often we've met people once or twice, and maybe we hung out with them at a friend's birthday, but we weren't close enough to count it as a real friendship. Well, as a kid, you get a lot of hangouts that happen organically, either through school or through a sports team or activity, or because someone else organizes the hangout. As an adult, we're gonna have to do the intentional work. We may have to organize, the play date. So take a risk. Get that person's number from a friend or find them on Facebook and reach out. Let them know you enjoyed hanging out that one time or when you saw them at that party, and see if they'd like to grab a drink or get coffee. I know we often want friendships to happen organically, and I get it. That's a great goal. And for many of us, our foundational friendships did happen that way. Those kinds of organic friendships take natural proximity and repeated proximity. As an adult, outside of our coworkers, our life rarely has a lot of settings where accidental friendships can be formed. But being intentional is healthy, and it doesn't have to be calculated or weird. Our goal is not to force someone into being a friend. Our goal is to put ourselves in spaces where repeated proximity can happen. And then notice the connections and pursue the ones that feel right. But I want to hear stories about some of the strange or cool ways that you've made friends as an adult. Feel free to share those in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.